राधे राधे। श्रीमद् सतगुरु सरकार की
जय।
लाडली लाल की
जय।
प्रथमं सद्गुरुं वन्दे श्री कृष्णं तदनन्तरं गुरुः पापात्मनां त्राता श्रीकृष्णस्त्वमलात्मना कस्तूरी तिलकं ललाटपटले वक्षःस्थले कौस्तुभं नासाग्रे वरमौक्तिकं करतले वेणुः करे कंकणम् सर्वांगे हरिचन्दनं सुललितं कंठे च मुक्तावली गोपस्त्री परिवेष्टितो विजयते गोपाल चूड़ामणि हायदु नंदन प्राण पीरीति हायदु नंदन प्राण पीरीति तुम बीनु जियत बहुत दीन बीते तुम बीनु जियत बहुत दीन बीते यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तग्वंहदेवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। Dear devotees of Sri Maharaji, respected viewers, Radhe Radhe. We'll chant for a few minutes. Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Govinda Radhe
Radhe Radhe Govinda
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे।
Srimad Sat
Jagadguru Sarkar ki,
Jai.
Shri Radha Krishna Bhagavan ki.
Jai.
The divine souls, as part of the daily prayer that we recite, there's a verse that we all recite as part of the daily prayer. Acharyam mam vijaniyan navamanyeta karhichit namartya buddhya Suyeta sarvadev mayo guruhu. This verse is from the Srimad Bhagavad Mahapurana. It is a very important verse that Sri Maharaji has given to us to incorporate into our daily devotional practice. It is very important. This verse is the fuel for our journey to Sri Radha Krishna. So I'm going to attempt to elaborate on this verse. Shri Krishna tells his friend, his Jnani friend Uddhav, Shri Krishna tells him that, "O Uddhav, you must understand that Acharya means that not only are the saint, or is the saint and I the same, but we are one. The saint is another form of my own divine personality. So seeing his human-like form and his human-like actions, do not assume that he is an ordinary human being. All the powers reside within his personality just as they reside within me. So don't ever perceive him as just a normal human being, because he is not. He is one with me. Absolutely one. This is the simple meaning of this verse. We may have heard that when Ashtavakra, when he entered the assembly of King Janak, all the learned scholars that were sitting there, they all chuckled, seeing his rather peculiar form. Ashtavakra means his body was rather strange, curved in 8 places. So they were just chuckling, laughing, seeing his appearance. So Ashtavakra said to Janak, "O Janak, it appears that your assembly has chamars sitting here." Chamar. Chamar is a caste in India. They specialize in working with different kinds of animal skin, the skin of deer and tiger and lion, etc. And they make various different things. So when they heard such a remark from Ashtavakra, they were absolutely dumbfounded. They couldn't believe what they were hearing. And even though Janak knew the underlying meaning of what Ashtavakra said, he inquired of Ashtavakra to explain why he made such a remark. So Ashtavakra said that they are judging me just based on my physical outer appearance. That is what they're doing. So a saint is not someone we perceive on the surface. A saint's true personality is internal, not what we perceive with our material mind, senses, and intellect. Because our body, our mind, our intellect, everything is material. And therefore, our perception is material. It's limited to the mic phenomena. What could we understand? How could we comprehend? But it is not so. That is not the reality. So Sri Maharaji tells us that our eternal quest is for unlimited, as individual souls, is for unlimited divine happiness. That is our eternal quest. And our quest will be satiated or fulfilled upon attaining Shri Krishna. Anand paane ki Govind Radhe Jeev mein nitya akanksha bata de Jeev chah Krishnanand Govind Radhe jo hai anant divya nitya bata de. So only after attaining Shri Krishna would our quest for perfect happiness, it will be fulfilled. And how would we attain Shri Krishna? How would we receive, and who would bestow this knowledge upon us? So Sri Maharaji tells us that it is the saint, the divine personality, which is why Sri Maharaji has glorified the importance of a divine personality in the Radha Govind Geet. Guru se hi parigyan Govind Radhe Guru binu ka kha ga gha Gyan na bata de Shrotriya Brahmanistha Govind Radhe Guru hi Ishwarya Gyan kara de Hari Guru ek kintu Govind Radhe Guru ki kripa ho to Hari te mila de Hari Guru ek kintu Govind Radhe Guru man shuddha kare Prem sudha de Guru se milave Hari Govind Radhe Hari se milave Guru Tattva bata de. So it is Guru Tattva, the power that unites a soul with the Supreme Soul. So this knowledge is initially crucial, it is critical for an aspiring soul like you and I. So Sri Maharaji tells us that God, tasmin tajjane bheda bhavad narad bhakti darshan, Tasmin God. And those who have attained God are one and the same. They both possess the same number of powers, exactly the same powers. Yes. So God has possesses 8 distinct divine qualities. Apahrita papma vijaro vimrityur vishoko vijighatso pipasah satyakamah satya sankalpah. 8 divine qualities that God bestows upon the saint, and because of that, after having attained those qualities from God, the saint becomes one with God. One with God. Acharya mam vijaniyan. So, Sri Maharaji tells us that he becomes one with God. And although God is the supreme beloved of all the saints, yet from the point of view or from the perspective of our spiritual welfare, our spiritual benefit, the importance of the role of the Guru rather is important and more beneficial to us as the individual soul. And Tulsidas Ji has described 2 examples in connection with this philosophy. Ram Sindhu Ghana Sajjan Dhira Chandana Aru Hari Sant Samira Ram Te Adhik Ram Karadasa. So Tulsidas Ji, the first example that he quotes is that just as the sandalwood tree, it is so fragrant, its fibers are so fragrant and they have so much perfume. But how do we receive the perfume? It is only because of the circulation of the air. If there's a vacuum, then we cannot receive the perfume. It is because the breeze transfers the perfume to us. And that is how we conceive the perfume of the sandalwood fibers of the tree. In the same way, the clouds bring the water from the ocean in the form of rainwater. If there are no clouds, how could we get any rain? So, although God and saint are one, yet the saint plays an important role in the life of an individual soul right from the very moment that soul embarks on the journey to God until the point of God realization. The saint is the one who serves the soul through and through, does everything for the soul. So, yes, they are one and the same, yet the saint is the one who unites the soul with the Supreme Soul, God. And just as God is more important, more loving to the saint than his very own soul, in the same way, the saint is more loving to God than his soul. The saint and God, they take one form, only one. So, those 8 qualities God bestows upon the saint, and then the saint becomes one with God. So the first quality is apahrita papma, means virtue and vice, righteousness and unrighteousness. All of these regulations of the Vedas, they do not apply in the realm of God. God says that they do not touch me. I am far and beyond, above and beyond virtue and vice and righteousness and unrighteousness. So Sri Maharaji gives us an analogy. Just like the powerhouse, it sends a current of electricity through the live wires. And if anyone touches the live wires, then what happens? That person will get pulled in. And if another person comes into contact with the person who is in direct contact with that live wire, then that person also gets pulled in. So Sri Maharaji tells us that the saint becomes one with God by virtue of receiving and attaining all of these 8 qualities. So God says, they do not touch me, virtue and vice. No, I am beyond. And after having received these qualities, the saint becomes one with God. And the next quality, there's another important quality, Satya Sankalpa. Satya Sankalpa means whatever God resolves, it happens. He just thinks, there shall be creation, done. He smiles, and infinite planetary systems, they come into existence. He holds his breath, and there is dissolution. He doesn't have to do anything. No, he doesn't have to perform any action as such, none whatsoever. He just resolves, and it happens. So these qualities God gives to the saint. And also, God bestows his perfect knowledge. We hear Satta Chitta Ananda. Chitta means knowledge. God is all-knowing. Yaha sarvagyaha sarvavediyasya jnana mayam tapaha. God is all-knowing, he's omniscient. And so he bestows perfect knowledge upon the saint. And he is all blissful. According to the Vedas, raso vaisaha rasagvam hivayam labdhvanandi bhavati. Anando brahmeti vyajanat anandadhyeva khalvimani bhutani jayante anandena jatani jivanti anandam prayanti abhisamvishanti. Anand evadhastat, anand uparishtat, anandah purastat, anandah paschat, ananda uttaratah, anando dakshinatah, anand eve dagvam sarvam. God is the embodiment, personified bliss. He is all blissful, and so he also bestows his divine bliss upon that saint. And Sat. Sat means eternal life. Eternal life, immortality, eternal life. So Sri Maharaj explains that every individual soul, in fact, has eternal life. Whether we as individual souls revolving in the cycle of 8.4 life forms, or a soul, a divine soul residing, dwelling in divine Golok. We all have Satta, eternal. We are eternal souls. So Satta Chitta Ananda, God gives everything. He gives himself, everything he has. He endows that saint with all of his treasures, and the saint becomes one with God. So Acharya Mam Vijaniyan. Yes, becomes one. However, there's one difference. And what is that? Jagat Vyapar Varjam Vedanta. Means that the work of creation is executed by God himself. Sri Maharaj tells us that God does not give such filthy, dirty, menial work to the saint. God himself executes the work of creation. There are uncountable souls in the universe, uncountable. God multiplies himself uncountable times, infinite times, and resides in the heart of each and every individual soul. And not only that, what does he do? He keeps an account of each and every action of each and every soul, each and every life of infinite souls. He keeps a record of all of their activities, all of their actions. So Sri Maharaj says that God does such a filthy job for us souls. And that too at no cost. He does it for free. Absolutely free of charge. So he does not give the work of creation to the saint. So Sri Maharaj tells us that we as individuals are served by God. And what do we give to him in return? Nothing. Nothing, none whatsoever. So Acharya Mam Vijaniyan, God and the saint are one in the same. God says, do not make even the slightest distinction remotely. Otherwise, you will be committing a transgression. And if you commit a transgression toward a saint, toward my divine associate, then you must know that there is absolutely no atonement whatsoever. There's none. So Acharya Mam Vijaniya Nav Manye Takar Hichit. Do not show even the slightest disrespect toward the saint. You may or may not follow my instructions or obey my instructions, that's okay. But never disobey the saint. No. You may commit a transgression toward me. I have given. Vishnu sthane kritam papam, Guru sthane pramuchyate. God says, if you commit a transgression toward me, the saint has the power. I have endowed him with the power to forgive you. But if you commit a sin, a transgression toward the saint, then it is absolutely intolerable to me. I will not tolerate it. And it's unpardonable. I will not pardon. I will not tolerate any insult toward my divine associate. So do not apply your material intellect. Do not disrespect him, even in the slightest. Acharya ma vijaniyat, nava mandye takar hichit, namartya buddhya, suyeta, namartya buddhya. God says that myself, I, and my divine saints, even though we are above and beyond the limitations and the clutches of Maya, we're above and beyond, yet we perform seemingly Mayic material actions. That is why you could get confused. So, when you perceive the human-like form and the human-like actions of the saint, do not deduce or conclude that he is an ordinary personality just like you are. No, because he's not. History is evidence of the fact that when Hanumanji was killing so many people in Lanka, what was he experiencing? At the same time, he was experiencing Siya Ram mein sab jag jana. He was experiencing, perceiving Sita Ram in every particle of the world. Everywhere he looked, he only perceived them. When Arjun was killing, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara, Yudhyacha, when he was also killing so many people, warriors in the war of Mahabharata, what was he experiencing? He only perceived Shri Krishna everywhere, through and through, everywhere. There was not even the slightest gap of 1/100th of a second, none whatsoever. There was no interruption at all. He was consistently perceiving Sri Krishna everywhere. And we wonder, how is this contradiction possible? How is it possible? It's because God has Yogamaya. Yogamaya He has, and He endows a saint with the same power, also known as Swarupa Shakti, Para Shakti. That is why it is described in the scriptures, Na chalati bhagavat padara vindal lavanimishadhamapiyah sa Vaishnavagriyah. The one whose mind does not deviate from the lotus feet of Sri Krishna for even a fraction of a second is a saint. So the saint, his whole being, every pore of his being is governed by this power of God, this intimate personal power of God known as Yoga Maya. So God has Yoga Maya, and so the saint, he also bestows that power upon the saint. And just so we can understand, just as a roasted grain, it cannot grow even if it's exposed to the sun or rain. In the same way, when a saint attains God, receives the divine vision of God, his material nature is forever destroyed. That Maya that once existed within him is forever destroyed. And so he is far from greed, anger, animosity, hatred, jealousy, and all. But with Yogamaya, even though God remains in his own divine, authentic personality, but even so, remains in his divinity, but performs the acts of Maya. We have heard about Prahlad. He ruled for one Manavantar. After becoming God, realized he had a family, children, and everything. And because he was given the instructions by Narsingh Bhagwan that you have to rule for one Manavantar. And how long is one Manavantar? So the age of Kali Yuga is 432,000 years. The age of Dwapar Yuga is twice the age of Kali Yuga, which is 864,000 years. And 3 times the age of Kali Yuga is Treta Yuga, which is 1,296,000 years. And 4 times the age of Kali Yuga is Sati Yuga, which is 1,728,000 years. So one cycle of 4 yugas is 4.32 million years. 71 times the cycle of the 4 yugas is one Manavantar. One Manavantar. And he ruled for such a long time. And even so, governed by Yogamaya, even though his actions were seemingly material, yet he was always in his divinity, in that divine identity that always maintained that divine identity. So the actions of the saints appear to be material. And that is why, in fact, the saint, as Sri Maharaji tells us, conceals himself even more. Even more. Why? So that we, the individual souls, would be cautious and apply our intelligence before surrendering to a saint. Because anyone can don the clothes of or the appearance of an ascetic. And if we were to surrender on the basis of physical appearance, we would be deceived by imposters. It would be, because anyone can mimic and have the appearance of an ascetic or a saint. Sri Maharaji tells us that just like somebody can grow long hair or shave their head, dye their clothes, sit under a tree, and put on an act of physical renunciation. If somebody gives that person money, he tears it and just tosses it. If somebody curses him, he smiles. So, it's very easy to do that. But if that is the basis of surrendering, then we would be easily tricked. We could get tricked. That's why Sri Maharaj says that we should not fall in such a trap. We have to be careful. And so, a saint's true personality is internal. So, navamanyeta karhichit. Do not apply your intellect. Because I am Sarvadeva. Sarvadeva Mayo means all the uncountable Indra and uncountable Brahma, Vishnu, Shankar, and all the Devis and Devtas, they reside within me. And they also reside within the saint as well. So do not apply your intellect. Do not judge him based on your limited mind and intellect. No, he is divine. All the gods and goddesses, they reside within him. Yes. And once a saint attains God, then what happens? Then God does everything for that saint. So all his activities and all of his actions and everything cease. And then God becomes the doer. He performs each and every action of the saint. The saint does nothing. He doesn't seek permission from God to do anything. The saint does nothing. God does everything. He performs all acts of ignorance and all acts of omniscience. God does for the saint. In our case, because we are not God realized as individual souls in Maya, we perform our own actions, and also we are bound by the consequences of our own actions. But once an individual soul realizes God, and God manifests himself, and the soul attains God forever, attains God realization, then God becomes, he controls and he governs every act of the saint. The saint doesn't do anything. Everything God does for that saint. Yes. So acts of ignorance, acts of omniscience, everything is done by God himself. So, Sarva Deva Mayo Guruhu. All the Devatas, all the gods and goddesses, they reside within the personality of the Guru. And so Sri Maharaji tells us, just as during the descension of Sri Krishna was crying before Mother Yashoda, but he was also absorbed in his divine love. Same thing during the descension of Bhagwan Ram. His divine leelas depicted ignorance towards Sugriv and Ravan and on Vibhishan. And Vibhishan told Bhagwan Ram that you cannot kill Ravan because he has that pot of Amrit or nectar is in his navel. So shoot the arrow right there. Bhagwan Ram said, really? Is that what I'm supposed to be doing? So the point is that even though God is all-knowing, but he still performs acts of ignorance, and those acts are governed by Yogamaya. So God performs all his action, everything with Yogamaya, and so does the saint. And God performs all of his actions. So Sri Maharaj tells us that when we worship our Guru, then all other forms of gods and goddesses are naturally and automatically gratified. We don't have to worship anyone else because we've already automatically worshiped them just by submitting and worshiping and adoring our own Guru, our Guru. So that is what we should always remember. And that should be our sadhana. Follow the guidelines established by our Guru. Remember, lovingly absorb our mind in the loving remembrance of the divine names and the virtues and the leelas of Sri Radha Krishna, and explicitly and wholeheartedly follow the divine guidelines of our Guru. And if we won't do that, if our mind gets diverted to other places and to other practices or other ideologies and teachings, then our exclusiveness or our single-minded devotion to our Guru and our worship form of God will be hampered. And we would not be able to make progress toward God realization. So, Acharya Mam Vijaniya Navamanyeta Karhichit Namartya Buddhya Suyeta Sarvadeva Mayo Guru. So, this is the inherent meaning of this divine verse, that God and Guru are one and the same, that we should not apply our material intellect in his actions, because all the forms of God and goddesses, they reside within the Guru. And that's how great our Guru is. Shrimat Satguru Sarkar ki, Ladli Lal ki, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. So we will have, we'll be having sadhana, and so after that we will be watching some special moments with Sri Maharaji, and then there will be more sadhana, and then we'll end with special moments with Sri Maharaji. So